Well, in my last video, I asked if anyone wanted to see a tour of my 1952 basement, and several of you said yes. So today, I'm taking you on the tour. Stay tuned. Hi, everyone. I'm Jennifer. Welcome to Antiquing Adventures, where I share the vintage treasures I find in thrift stores and antique malls. Thanks for coming on this adventure with me. All right, so coming down the stairs, first of all, we have Elvis here on the right. You're going to see a lot of Elvis stuff. But this shelf is original. I think has always been there. And just to share some of my tchotchkes, this little set I got at a thrift store for, I don't know, $3 or something. Very 50s. Anytime you see like that gold accent on things, probably 50s, maybe early 60s. That's just kind of was popular at the time. This pearl collar and these gloves belonged to a dear family friend. When she passed, she still had multiple pairs of her gloves perfectly pressed in little plastic bags in her drawer. And so I got to keep one pair of her gloves. This was my grandmother's, and we don't know where the rest of the set is. There's some old books here. That's an old German English dictionary, but some of you may remember the Sally, Dick, and Jane series. These were my mom's, but my brother and I actually learned to read on those as well. This clock is just awesome, and it's not passed down from anybody. I just couldn't pass it up. I just thought it was so cool. It does work, but you have to wind it. But just a really neat West clock, Big Ben clock. And then this little picture was in a relative's basement, and it is marked, turn that around here. You probably can't see that, but it's dated 1920. So I would say someone made that. It says Twin Peaks on it. I don't know where that is, but that was a handmade painting to somebody in 1920, over 100 years old. That Bible I made a short of years ago. It was my great-grandmother's. It's from the early 1900s, I believe. There's an old little magazine with Jane Russell on it. My mom's uncle had a bunch of cigar boxes. We used to keep our crayons in them. Now they're a collector's item. Old clock and a lady's hat when women had to wear hats everywhere. This piece is a dream catcher. I got that at an antique mall on sale, but is this not, you can see all the little like buttons and trinkets that are on it. To me, it just screams Three's Company. I don't know why. They must have had some macrame along with all their wicker. And then this was from a family friend. This is vintage, 50s or 60s. It works, but the sound doesn't work quite right, and I just haven't gotten around to see if I can find someone to work on it. So this lava lamp, technically, it's vintage because it's at least 30 years old. And that makes me sad because the 90s should not be considered vintage, but yet they are. Tell me guys, what is this? To me, it almost looks like an ashtray, but there's no slots in it for cigarettes. Very mid-century, passed down from some relative. It may just be a fancy piece of pottery, but it's a really unique shape. This is a lava glaze pottery piece that I got for $6 because there's like a hairline crack there that you can't even see. I just love that glazing. And this game here, if you're into vintage games, the Game of Hollywood Stars is from the 1950s. Check out the fun graphics on that. You basically, the goal is to get to the center of the board, and the center of the board is when you become a star. And it was a simple, fun game. Just kind of I don't know if you can see it from the glare, but an old ad for a 1956 DeSoto that I had framed. Then these built-in shelves. I hope you can see that. More Elvis stuff. Anybody recognize these? It's a viewer for your slides. And some of you, I'm sure, remember cat eye glasses being everywhere. I'm just kind of showing the things that are actually vintage here. This old AM radio, I can't remember if it works. I've had it a long time. So I'm not sure if it still works. More Elvis TV guide. Another fun pottery piece. This is actually a butter dish. And I just love that glazing, so I had to have that. These guitar strings I made a short about. These I got in Tennessee, and the lady who checked me out said they are dated from 1939, and they were owned by Bruce Osborne, who played guitar for Porter Wagner, among several other country stars. So what a cool piece of country music history to own. Remember metal sculptures? This is one I had 3 different pieces I tried to sell, and this one didn't sell, and I decided that meant it was supposed to live at my house. And that's my dad's Air Force bag and suitcase from probably the 60s. This vintage fireplace came with the house. I don't know how old it is. The previous owner said it was never used. So, and the previous owners lived here since the 80s, so it's probably from the 70s or 80s, but it works fine, and it has a heater on it, so I actually use this in the winter time when I'm hanging out down here. And then this is a vintage ad for an old movie with Cary Grant, one of his few movies I've actually not seen, so I need to look that up. My vintage 50s lamp there, that was a thrift store find for, I don't know, maybe $3. And these tables, I've got one on each side of the futon. Those are vintage 50s. I can't remember how much I paid for those. Some of my vintage Elvis records. And for those that remember these old Afghans that were everywhere. And then this lamp was in my grandma's basement, and we have a picture of my dad and his 3 siblings. And this lamp is in the picture, so that's really cool to have, and it still works. And then this covers up some plumbing things. That's mainly why it's there. It's good storage. And normally I have a bunch of pictures of family and friends there, but I don't have their permission to share those, so I didn't keep those up. But it's great, again, great storage, and just a place to display some of my fun pictures. And then how many remember hook rug kits? I don't even know if they still sell those, but that's a hook rug kit that is at least as old as me. And that's an old Elvis record. That's for It's Now or Never, and some plates a friend gave me. So that's my basement, guys. Let me know if you enjoyed the tour. I really love this space. This is a really nice paneling down here. So it kind of feels like you're almost in a cabin tucked away somewhere, kind of away from the world. So thanks for coming on the tour with me. If you enjoyed this, let me know. I've got other vintage collections in the house I could share with you if you're enjoying that. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and I will see you on my next adventure.